Let me ask you a question. Do you know how to prepare for a successful IEP meeting? Because if you're one of those moms that goes to your IEP meeting and expects it to be a successful outcome and for your child's unique needs to be met, and an appropriate IEP will be offered to you for your child, then you're not going to be able to be successful in having your child educated and having your child's specific needs met under special education, state and federal law. Because why is that, parents? Why doesn't the school district just offer you what your child needs? Just give you what your child needs? Just tell you what your child needs? Because that's not the way special education works, parents. Special education is a government agency. It's a bureaucratic institution. And those are some of the things I'm going to be talking about in today's Facebook Live. So this is my part 4 of my 6-part series, and today is how to prepare for a successful IEP meeting. But before I get into it, please leave your comments below, because I love hearing from you. I love hearing what your experiences are. I love hearing if you have any questions or clarifications you'd like me to make, because parents, we're at the end of the school year, okay? A really horrific school year. And in fact, since March of 2020, our kids have not received an education. So we need to step up our game on how to learn to advocate and have successful outcomes at our IEP meetings. So please leave your comments, and please hit that like button and share this video, because there's so many parents out there that need help. Every day I get calls from parents who are desperate to get help and to understand the IEP process and to know how to work with their local school district and understand why they're just spinning their wheels in IEP meetings and never getting anywhere. So this is the information I give in my Facebook Lives. This is the coaching I provide in my Advocates for Angels business. So please like and share this video. So let's talk about successful outcomes for children's IEP meetings. And the first thing I want to talk about is your mindset and your understanding of the special education system. So I have a virtual program called the Ultimate IEP, and the Ultimate IEP Module 1 is understanding and awakening to the reality of special education. And that whole module, I teach on understanding the fact that special education is broken. Okay, this is across the nation, not just in California, across the nation, because IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, was written and set up to be adversarial between parents and school districts. That's the way it's written. There's no oversight for districts. No one gets into trouble or gets held accountable, or there's no one watching and overseeing and managing your child's special education program or any child's special education program. The only way they're held accountable, parents, is by us enforcing our parent rights, by us overseeing our child's program, by us being able to be collaborative in IEP meetings, know how to communicate, know how to write emails, know how to take the leadership role in an IEP meeting, know how to write parent agendas, know how to hold them accountable and obligated under your state and under federal law, IDEA. And that's the bottom line, parents, is it's an bureaucratic institution, and it's governed by power and control over parents. They don't want you to know how much power you have, parents. They don't want you to know that you are an equal IEP team participant, that you have as equal say-so, and you have power to give input on every decision that is made for your child's IEP and special education program. They don't want you to know that you one person can put a halt on the whole team. So I don't care who that person is sitting around the table, whether it be the psych, the principal, the special education director from the district office, your teacher, occupational therapist, speech pathologist, whoever it is, you have more power than they do because you're one person. And if you don't sign your IEP in California, if you don't sign your IEP, then you put a halt to everything. And they have to work with you to resolve the reasons why you don't want to sign your IEP. So you have more power than any of them do, but they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know how to utilize and implement your power. So the other thing that they do is right it from the get-go, the first time you walk into an IEP meeting for your child, they will size you up. I call it size you up, which means they check you out, they watch the words you say, they watch how you talk, they watch just does this parent know the IEP process? Does this parent know special education, state law? Does this parent know what's available to their child? Does this parent know how IEP language and IEP speak and how to make requests properly? Does this parent know what's available to their child? And does this parent know their child's disability? Because a lot of parents, when they come to me and I ask them, what is your child's disability? What is your child's eligibility for an IEP? I don't know. You don't know what your child's deficits are. You don't know what your child has and why they're eligible for an IEP. No. We have to become experts on our child's disability and our child's deficits and understand what our child needs through special education. Now, sometimes parents are just in that, okay, what's happening? Can you guys not hear me? Is this what's happening once again? There. Okay, you can hear me. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I put this on mute. I did. Okay. So if your child, if you don't know what your child's disability is, now I was saying some parents are not there yet. They're just in the assessment process and they're trying to figure out, is this a learning disability? Is this the autism spectrum? Is this dyslexia? Is this ADHD? You know, is this a processing disorder? Is this vision processing, auditory processing? Is this sensory integration? What's going on here? Or is this, you know, it's usually many of those things combined. Once you go through the assessment process, kids usually have scattered areas of deficits. And anyways, that's the assessment process, which is a very long process when it's done properly. And I'm going to be doing another Facebook Live on that. But the district will size you up, parents. And if you don't know that, which they can determine just like that in an IEP meeting, then they will take advantage of you. They will treat you accordingly. They will coerce you. They will manipulate you. They will intimidate you. They will mislead you. They will do everything they can to misguide you on your parent rights, on what's available, on what you can get. And they actually will actually lie to you, which happens all the time in an IEP meeting. Now, there are ways to keep them from lying because if you tape record, that's going to cut down a lot of the lies, but still, they will give half truths even when they're being tape recorded. So, your mindset and your understanding of special education and the system and what you're up against, that is the number one thing. I call it a parent's aha moment. Like, mostly parents, what do? We trust the school district. We trust educators. We trust administrators. Our superintendent, our special education director, of course they want to do what's best for our child. Of course they're going to meet the needs of our child. But it's not that way, you guys. It's sad, but true. It's not that way. And once parents have that aha moment and they realize, oh my gosh, something's wrong here. They're not meeting the needs of my child. I found out about this. Why didn't they ever tell me? Oh my gosh, my teacher lied to me about this or that. Oh my God. And the aha moment, the light bulb starts going off, and you start investigating on what's really going on here. And you will find out about the bureaucracy of special education. It's about power and control over parents, and it's about the gatekeepers shutting the door on funding for your child. Of course, the bottom line is money, and that's what it's about. And you have to know how to open that door, that gatekeeper's door, to get the funding for your child through your parent rights and through knowing how to make requests, through knowing the timelines in your state. And if you don't know these things, you're never going to be successful in developing an IEP that meets the needs of your child. And this is what I talk about over and over in all my Facebook Lives. This is what I teach in the Ultimate IEP virtual course. You can take that course this summer, parents, for $199. It's a virtual course. You can take it. You can learn your rights. You can be ready to go by next school year and have a successful outcome at your next IEP meeting. And you can also sign up to get personal coaching with me. I have coaching packages if you want to meet with me as you're going through the course to understand more how to apply the law and the IEP process to your child's individual IEP. So take the opportunity this summer to start educating yourself, to start strengthening your advocacy skills, because the second thing I want to say is ESY, extended school year, or summer school. You guys, every single kid on an IEP should be receiving ESY this year. Our kids have not gotten an education since March of 2020. Every single kid regressed and lost skills and lost education since March of 2020. So I don't want to hear in IEP meetings, because there are particular eligibility and qualification criteria to have a child eligible for ESY that they typically have to go through under the law, which is, will this child regress if they don't go to ESY or summer school, and will this child be able to recoup skills as quickly as a general ed kid can recoup their skills after being off track or off the summer break. And if those two answers are no, yes, they're gonna regress, and no, they're not going to recoup their skills, then that child is eligible for ESY. What is that conversation even being had for in any IEP meeting right now? Because the U.S. Department of Education said, when we come back to school in person, every single school district is responsible to assess and determine how to take care of all that time, how to make up for all that time, some type of recoupment, some type of resolution for all that time that we were out of school. That's the responsibility of every school district. And so every kid should be getting ESY, extended school year, for this summer, parents. So I certainly hope your child's getting ESY. The next thing, and the other thing I wanted to say about when I was talking about the bureaucracy of special ed, you guys, every teacher isn't bad. Every staff member at your special ed department isn't bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the system is corrupted. The system. There are amazing related service providers, OTs, speech pathologists, teachers, administrators. I'm friends with lots of them, but they're caught in a bad system, in a bureaucratic system that is broken. So I'm not pointing fingers at teachers. I'm not pointing fingers at district people that I know are in it to help kids. But you guys, guess what? Their hands are tied too. They can't advocate for you in a meeting. They can't tell you, oh, mom, you should say this word. You should say that word. You should ask it for it like this. This is what you need to say. They are not allowed to tell you that. They have gag orders put on them. And if they help parents, they get reprimanded. They get into trouble by their administrator at their school site and the program specialist or an administrator over the district office. They are not allowed to help parents to understand how to get services or how to win a battle or win an argument or win something in an IEP meeting. So they are, I think it's, I don't understand how they can actually have a job like that, because the ones that are truly have a heart to help kids and then aren't able to help them because of a bureaucratic system and a corrupt agenda, then they're going against their moral compass by doing that. And believe me, some of them do it in a sneaky way and under the radar still, and those are the ones that really truly care. And then you've got your teachers that are teachers like, which I have two of them right now. They're special education teachers, and they don't want my client in their class. They think that my client should be in this is two cases, should be in a severely handicapped class, the autism classroom. They don't want to have that child in their class because guess why? They don't know how to teach a nonverbal autistic child. Now, a nonverbal autistic child has every right to be in a special day class where they're having the opportunity to have access to the general education curriculum and learn how to read, how to write, how to do math, how to be alongside higher developing peers in that class. They do not have to be segregated and ostracized into a self-contained, severely handicapped class. That they don't have to do that, but parents don't know, and a lot of times they're placed there, even though many of these kids are highly intelligent. Just because a child's nonverbal doesn't mean they're not intelligent. They can't take tests, they can't verbalize because they need an AAC device, they need communication device, they need behavior intervention by an ABA or an RBT aid. Do you think the district gives them that? Heck no. No, they just stick them in a severely handicapped class where they're babysat, they're taught nothing, and they're just kept safe. And they're taught functional skills. But go in one of those classes and see what they're taught. Okay. So again, that is discrimination. It's against civil and human rights of that child and of parents that don't want that for their child. So these teachers say, no, I'm not going to teach that kid who's nonverbal and has behaviors, and I want him out of my class. And we're fighting to say, no, that's against IDEA. The purpose of IDEA is to teach children in the least restrictive environment, and that they have the opportunity to work and learn alongside their typical developing peers, not in a self-contained class where curriculum isn't even being taught. Okay, so you've got teachers like that. You've got people that dig their heels in and say, no, I'm not going to communicate every day with a mom in a communication log. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to provide this accommodation. I'm not going to front load. I'm not going to whatever it is in the IP that we think the child needs, that IEE providers say the child needs and gives recommendations for how to teach that child. So a lot of it is that I communicated with a teacher on my page, and I was talking about this, and she said, Valerie, do you understand that they don't support us, that they don't train us properly? That she said, I care so much about my kids. That's why I went into teaching. And of course, that's why people go into education, because they want to help kids. They love kids. They want to educate kids. They're a service provider. They want to do their therapy and whatever discipline they do. But especially with teachers, they aren't supported. They aren't trained properly to teach kids on the spectrum, or they weren't trained for sure over the last year and a half on technology. All of a sudden it was just sprung on them. Hey, now you're doing virtual schooling. Now they got a heck of a lot of money from federal government to train their staff on technology. Do you think the districts gave it to the teachers and trained them on technology? No. Half these teachers had to work their entire summer to teach themselves how to do technology. I know a lot of them, and I know that they sat all summer long for hours every day training themselves on technology and developing a curriculum, a virtual curriculum, because the district didn't support them. So, when you understand that it's a balancing act, it's a balancing act in this whole situation, and how the IEP team, it's a team. And you are an equal member of that team. It's not us against them and them against us. It is a team. But they don't treat us that way, do they? They don't treat us as a team member. They treat us as an outsider. They don't treat us as a member of that team. That's a violation of your parent rights, you guys. You are an equal participant of the IEP team, according to IDEA and every state law in the nation. So the mindset is the first thing that parents need to understand about this whole game. And let me tell you, it is a game because they are taught in-services trainings how to manipulate parents, how to give half-truths, how to deny things in a really nice way. They know scripts. They have templates that they are given in-services of, well, when a parent says this is what you say back to them. And whatever it is, it's going to either deny what you're asking for or delay what you are asking for. And that's what they do. And unless you know how to come back at that statement or that argument, their position with your position of as a parent, equal participant, and what your parent rights are and what the law really says, then you're screwed because you're not going to know what to say. So, that's why I have my Ultimate IEP program. That's why I do provide my services to parents. And I also have the Parent Brigade. And this would be a great thing for you to join this summer, parents, the Parent Brigade. Now, a lot of parents, I have different levels of, finances for different families. The Parent Brigade is so inexpensive. It's $25 a month. That's all. And you get support from me 2 times a month. I have curriculum for you to study to learn your parent rights. And we have group calls, live calls twice a month that are about an hour and a half to 2 hours long. And you get support, not only support according for your child's IEP, but also emotional support, because you are not alone, but you feel alone. You feel isolated. You feel like, I'm going crazy. What am I going to do? How am I going to help my child? I'm never going to win. I'm the only one going through this. But no, you're not the only one going through this, because guess what, you guys? There's more than 7 million kids on an IEP in the United States today. So many hundreds of thousands of parents are feeling the exact same thing you are. So you've got to get support, you have to get educated, and you have to give some type of investment into doing this to win for your child, because this is not only their school career, but it's their life after high school, and it's reaching their potential in life. It's the difference between staying disabled and reaching their potential in life. That's the gravity of the IEP in education. And yeah, I see education as dismantling, because it is. A lot of our systems today are dismantling. But until we create a new system that serves all children, then we're going to have to deal with this one. And this is the one we got. And if you don't know how to win, then you're going to lose. So the first thing, now this is the actual, steps to take and things to do to prepare for a successful IEP meeting. The first thing you got to do is, if you had assessments that are going to be reviewed at your IEP, you're going to ask for a copy of that assessment report, because parents, you have a right to have disclosed to you anything that's going to be reviewed at your IEP meeting. You have a right. So you put in writing, I'm requesting a copy of all assessment reports 1 week prior to my meeting. And if you don't get those assessment reports, so you can read them, internalize them, decipher them, highlight it. You can even contact the assessor that did that assessment and ask them questions prior to the meeting. So you're prepared to discuss that assessment at your IEP meeting. If they don't give it to you, then you don't have to have that IEP meeting, because how can you prepare if you don't know what they're going to say? Because an assessment report has standardized test scores, all these recommendations, all this information about your child. If you haven't had time to review it, they're going to be throwing all this information at you in an IEP meeting. You're going to be overwhelmed. It's just going to be going right over your head. You're not going to be actually interpreting any of it, and you're at a disadvantage. You're not going to win. So you get your assessment report prior to the meeting. You must do it in writing. You don't do it verbally, you do it in writing, because then you can hold them accountable if they don't give it to you. Okay? And then you can call your assessor as well. Number 2, you request a draft of your IEP. So you can have a draft of your IEP that you can start preparing for them to review the IEP. The IEP process, parents, what is it? I've been teaching about it all year. It starts with assessments. Then the next thing is old goals. They're going to look at the previous goals. They're going to tell you if that your child met them, made progress towards them, or didn't meet them. You're going to get that in your draft, and you're going to get the new goals. They're going to offer of new goals. So you can review all of that information prior to the meeting and be prepared to discuss it. You are going to write your parent agenda. So just like the district has an agenda, the agenda is just the steps of the IEP process, which is you start with assessment, then you go to the process, which is the previous goals, the present levels of performance. I forgot to mention present levels of performance in the draft. Present levels of performance, new goals, then they go to services. Then they go to accommodations, then they go to services, and then they go to placement. That's always the process. That's the steps that they go through for the agenda in an IEP meeting as well. Now, there's a couple other things in there that I didn't mention, like state testing and special factors and things like that. But these are the things we're concerned with, okay, and the development of the IEP. So you're going to request your draft of your IEP prior to the meeting so you can prepare some more. So you are prepared. Then number 3, I said that. Sorry guys, I'm on number 3. You're going to write your parent agenda. Your parent agenda, just like they have their agenda, which are the steps, then you get to write your parent agenda. Now, what's in your parent agenda? Your parent agenda has all your requests in it, whatever you're going to request at that meeting. Your parent agenda has your concerns. What are you concerned about? You know, I'm concerned about my child's reading levels. They are 2 years behind grade level. I am requesting a reading specialist. I'm requesting a reading assessment. I think my child should have 3 more reading goals added to their IEP, whatever it is. That is your parent agenda, okay, that you want to give them prior to the meeting. Now, why? Because then it is in writing. Because what is always the go-to, parents, if it's not in writing, then it was never said, okay? There's no evidence or paper trail if it's not in writing. Everything is in writing, always in writing. And whatever agreements are made in an IEP has to be written in the IEP, or nothing is ever going to change. It's got to be documented in the IEP. Number 4, you can write a parent statement. And a parent statement is at an annual and a triennial. They always will turn to you, the parent, and they will say, Mrs. Smith, what is your priorities for your child this school year? What are your concerns, priorities for your child for the upcoming school year? And parents are caught off guard. You don't know what to say. You just start talking and blabbing away, because we like to talk, and we're not centered, and we don't have something prepared. If you write a parent statement of what am I going to say when they ask me that question, then you're going to use that piece of box in the IEP that they have to write what you said in the IEP. The mom is concerned about their child's reading level and is requesting a reading assessment. The mom is concerned that her child is being bullied at school. The mom is requesting an speech and language IEE, whatever it is. That's what you're going to say. when they ask you that question. And then number 5 is you're going to write your notice to tape record. You always tape record every meeting. And why? Because when you tape record, they are less likely to misguide you and mislead you. Also, it's going to be a record where you can go back and listen to your IEP meeting. Because we are emotional at an IEP meeting, right? We're emotional. We're not taking in all the information. We're forgetting what they said a lot. We don't hear a lot of things. You can go back and listen. And when they say, no, 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 we never said that. No, we didn't agree to that. You have a tape recording that can prove that they did. So you always tape record. And how you tape record is you write an email 24 hours prior to the meeting. Please be advised, I plan on tape recording my IEP meeting on this such and such a date. Now, remember, I'm in California. This is California. Some districts have different mandates for tape recording, but that's California, okay? Number 6, you're going to dress for an IEP meeting, parents. Don't come to your IEP meeting looking like you just cleaned the house. We are negotiating thousands and thousands of dollars in services in an IEP meeting. If you're doing it the right way, you're negotiating a lot of money in these IEP meetings for your child. Yeah, and it doesn't, I don't care how much money it costs them because your child deserves it and they have the funds for it, and that's what special education's for. But when you dress for a business meeting, you look like you mean business. You are serious. You're there to fight for your kid. You want them to take you seriously. You're prepared for that meeting. You have your parent agenda. You're prepared. Okay, so you look the part along with it too. And number 7, if you can, always bring someone with you, because otherwise you feel like it's you against 10 other people, right? You have no one, you're alone. Can be intimidating, and it just can be, completely overwhelming sometimes in IEP meetings. So if you're married, bring your husband, bring your mother, bring your sister, bring your best friend. If you have a friend who's a teacher or an educator, bring in another district, of course, bring anybody with you for moral and support, emotional and moral support. And so those are my points for how to prepare for a successful IEP meeting, parents. I put the link to the Parent Brigade in this live right here. So, I think that would be such an amazing way for you to start connecting with me, getting emotional support over the summer, start learning better, strengthening your advocacy skills. Also, if you want more information on the Ultimate IEP, it's on my Advocates for Angels and my Special Education Parent Empowerment Network group page, as well as the consultation packages under services on both my pages. So let me just see, I think I see a couple questions maybe here. If the IEP team says that student is doing fine academically, but is not able to make friends, how can they deny ESY? So again, I said there's 2 requirements for ESY, and those are the questions that have to be approved for your kid to get ESY. It's a mandate. This is a statute that they have to follow. Those 2 things for ESY are, will your child regress if they do not attend summer school? Are they going to regress? Yes. Number 2, can your child recoup their academic status, meaning where they were when they left school, when they come back? Every child's going to regress, right? But most children will make up that regression really quickly, and then you move on with the progress. Special ed kids take usually 2 or 3 times longer to recoup their previous skills. If that is, yes, my child is not going to be able to recoup their previous skills as quickly as a general education student, that is how you get ESY. That is how you get it. Now, the caveat that I said at the beginning of this live was, every kid should be getting ESY now because of what they have done since March of 2020, which is not educate our kids. So every kid has massively regressed and is never going to make up a 1.5 years of education. no matter how much you could give them 10 summer schools. They're not going to make up what they regressed. Every kid's eligible for ESY this summer. So that's the point I was making there. Can a parent call stay put on a denial for ESY if current IEP from last year has ESY? Well, that's a good question, Mary. I've never had that come up. Now, let me just think about this. So I don't want to give you an absolute answer because I would want to look that up first and just confirm, but because I do believe that ESY, those questions have to be asked at every single end of the school year when they determine ESY. So my, first response is no, you can't do stay put because that list, they have it. It's an actual list of questions that they have to go over, and they have it, the discussion with the IEP team. So don't just let them tell you, nope, your child isn't eligible, or they'll ask the teacher, oh, teacher, do you think that this student would regress? No, I don't think so. Have you ever seen evidence that when they came back from Easter or spring break or Christmas break that this child regressed? Nope, I never saw it. I never saw evidence. I don't think they're going to. And then they go, okay, nope, you don't get ESY. No. That is not a decision making the way it should be done as a team, a discussion with you, an equal participant in that discussion. They have specific questions that they have to ask, and you can say, I believe there are specific questions that are supposed to be asked to determine the eligibility for ESY. So my first inclination is to say, no, stay put would not be valid for ESY. But like I said, this summer, you guys, every single kid is eligible for ESY. And this is what I would say to them. I would say, United States Department of Education directed every school district in the nation to assess children when they got back in person to determine how much regression that child had made and how much compensatory education it's going to take to make up that regression. And you tell them that. And you say, you haven't done anything to make up any of my child's regression so far, and my child is eligible for ESY. And if they don't give you ESY, then you can move forward with other advocacy steps after that to hold them accountable for ESY, because that is not okay for them to say, no, your child isn't eligible for ESY. Baloney. Every kid's eligible for ESY after a year and a half of closed schools and virtual schooling. Really? It's insane to even have that conversation about ESY today. So I hope that helps a little bit with some of your questions, guys. So thanks. And you guys, we'll see you next Monday for part 5 of my 6-part series. And next Monday is how to understand the IEP process. So thanks, guys. Take care and God bless.